Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Life Light Therapy podcast. Today, we're joined by my friend Hillary, who's going to share her story about her experience with Life Light. So you don't just have to listen to me talk. Um, so, Hillary, why don't you tell us how you first found out about Life Light and your experience with it?
It was like maybe 12 years ago. You guys had mentioned it to me. You had just started the business, and so I had been complaining about my carpal tunnel, and you mentioned about the Lifelite, and so because I was doing hair at the time, and it was just a lot on my body, and so I tried it and had good success with it. So that's the first kind of the first part of it.
Yeah, and I was talking with Kyle earlier today, who you introduced to the company. He became involved, which thank you for the introduction. But he was reminding me that the way he found out about it initially was you were cutting his hair
Yeah.
and told him that you probably weren't going to be able to continue cutting hair because the carpal tunnel was so bad.
Yeah.
And then when he went back the next time, you were feeling all better, and he couldn't believe it. And you had quite a story to tell.
Yeah. Yeah, it worked great for
And
that.
then
And
which with carpal tunnel, I mean that's the type of thing a lot of people resort to a surgery that can cost $20,000 and end up leaving scar tissue and
yeah.
leaving people with all sorts of complications.
I was at a point where I was thinking about surgery just because it was so bad. But then it really helped me a lot with just ease and being able to do my job
Yeah,
like like normal again. Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
And you've since used it
yeah.
for other things, right? Because there's multiple. People usually get the unit for one thing, and then they're looking through the list of protocols on the device. They're like, oh wait, it does this and this and this.
Yeah.
So is that your experience also?
Oh yeah. I mean, at that point, I had just one son who was young, and now I have two, and as they've grown up, I've used it, on sore throats, on toe infections, on headache. I mean, you name it. We use it for a lot of things, and I even my parents were they got one and they use it, and my dad recently had um, a really bad bacterial infection on his finger, on his um, on his thumb, and it was, I mean, his thumb looked like it was about to fall off, like truly. Um,
Mm-hmm.
he had to go on antibiotics. I'm sure it was like multiple things that were helping, but he ended up using
Mm-hmm.
the machine on it as well to help with that. And yeah, I mean, whenever somebody has something, I'm like, have you looked into red light therapy? Because now it's just a part of it's a part of our routine, health routine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and I mentioned this in some other episodes, but the lifelike therapy difference is, it does all these different things like a headache or carpal
Yeah.
tunnel or antibacterial, and the difference is all in the protocol you pick, which is unique to lifelike because each protocol the frequencies change. Um, so the lights are always flashing. You usually can't see them flash at all, but uh, usually you can tell, what based on what the protocol is called, what to use it for. Did you ever have any experience before that with red light therapy?
Yeah, I didn't have any idea. It didn't really make sense in my mind how that could work, but since I've learned a lot about, just the different more holistic ways of healing.
Yeah, I mean it's just really helping your body heal itself and not doing anything crazy and invasive.
Yeah, back then, I mean, that was the only really ailment I was dealing with. But then, I mean, fast forward, I don't know how many years later, I was dealing with other health issues. So it's always been a help just with overall well-being, and if I have an achy body or whatever, it'll help relieve that. I mean, I've only done, just on smaller portions of my body, but even just, putting it on my brainstem and that helps with relaxation and headaches and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, anything else you would say to somebody who's thinking about trying life flight therapy? What would you say to them?
I would say I know that there's a lot of um, legitimate, or like, it's not like doing what it says it's doing, lights you can get on Amazon or whatever. But I can say from my experience with you guys that it works, and it's the real deal. So you know what you're going to get with your product versus, there's just a lot of, I think, fake ones. I don't know for sure, but I've heard from other people like, oh, it doesn't really work that great, or whatever. But it seems that you guys have a legitimate working system.
Yeah, that's one of the battles we face is people see what we have and assume it's just like every other red light therapy out there. And even if the wavelengths are the exact same in another unit, it's like comparing apples to oranges because everything we do incorporates frequency, and no other unit out there incorporates frequency. So that the healing impact of a normal red light device, even if they were using the exact same LEDs and wavelengths and power, it still wouldn't be the same. So yeah, appreciate that. Well, thank you, Hillary. Thanks for sharing your story. And as always, if anybody's watching or listening have any questions about protocols to use or how to use it in the future, reach out to us at lifelighttherapy.com. Thanks.